When you ride the 450MT, you have the freedom to shape your own future. Because this is a go-anywhere motorcycle, you may live life without limitations and experience a new sense of ultimate independence. That's the description I would give the 450MT if it actually was a mini T7.
But it's not.
The 450MT proves that the destination comes second, with its unmatched ability to dispatch everything from highways to rocky gravel switchbacks to single goat tracks. The 450MT boasts serious travel capabilities thanks to its incredibly responsive power plant, pin-sharp off-road handling, and all-day comfort. It's all about the journey. That's what I would say if it was a mini 790 Adventure R.
But it also isn't. You see, the 450MT is in a class of its own. It's a small displacement adventure bike. So let's take a deeper dive of why exactly this bike is so popular. Come join me, guys.
You see the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. I've been on the flex since flex zone. Neighborhood all in your eardrums. I ain't never scared like Bone Crush. Boy, I got God, don't fear none. My line busy, take no calls. Feels like I don't have no flaws. Snakes in the grass, cut those off. Yo, squash. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So as you can see, what we got in front is the 450MT by CFMoto. Now this one is the Zephyr Blue colorway. It comes in two variants, this one and a Tundra Gray. And the biggest difference is, aside from the color, the front forks are bronze. It's got a upgraded fender, so this is more an off-road oriented one because the stock one is one of those that hug the tires. It's got crash bars, and then it's got auxiliary lights and also a cup holder. What else? It's got a top box bracket, which is over there. I took it out for now just to sort of show the bike in its prime form, what it would look like if it's just like in its standard thing. And I personally love this sort of like alienish look that it's going for. You know, the stacked headlights with the, let me show you actually. There we go. So it's got like this daytime running light in the middle with the, this is your normal light, and then this is your high beam, so low beam, high beam. And then it's got the two little lights on the side. I think it looks really nice. It's got some bark busters, or I don't think these are bark busters because they don't have the metal that runs in the thing. I think they're just lever guards or hand guards. Yeah, it's got folding mirrors. So this is stock, by the way. How do you fold them? I'm not sure entirely how to fold them. Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably gonna break it, so I'm just gonna leave it there. Yeah, it's got this is for the light, and then this is for the horn, so it's got like custom horn on it. But yeah, it is a very pretty bike. I love the blue. CFMoto has done an amazing job because it's got blue, white, black, and then it's got a little bit of that magenta that just sticks out. I think that just looks sick. It is a very, very sexy colorway. Now this bike, feature-wise, stock form, you do have two adjustable heights for this. I will go into more detail on that. Let's go into the engine specifications. So right here, it's also got like engine covers and stuff. But yeah, so this is rocking a 449cc parallel twin. So you can see there's the two headers. But instead of being a 180-degree crank, it is a 270. So it's a super cool exhaust note. It sounds like a V-twin, and it gives it sort of like that aggressive sort of sound that, you know, a lot of people are enjoying these days. Now this engine makes about 42 horsepower at 8,500 RPM, and it's got, you know, with that 42, it does another 42 Newton meters of torque. So it's a very torquey bike. Also with the sprocket arrangement, this is still a stock sprocket. I've read online that with the stock sprocket, you kind of want to upgrade it to be more highway oriented. Some people do. Like, I think they go down a tooth or go up a tooth, I think. Now, features on just this side that I really like. I personally love this. That, I've been playing with that on the highway. Like, that is just enjoyable. I was just, you know, it's got folding everything. Like, this folds, so if in case you drop the bike, this folds. It does that also on the brake side. Here's the brake side. It also folds, which is a really neat feature. I think more adventure bikes should do that, because that actually prevents you from really like not being able to go home and stuff. But yeah, things that I don't like though, just a little side note, I don't like that this is plastic. I wish they would have made it like maybe actual forged carbon, because it's got that forged carbon look. But yeah, not a fan. I wish it would have been metal. At least metal would have been nicer. I don't know, but yeah, that's my gripe there. Another thing that I've also read is that this belly pan, you can see right there, or skid plate, I've read that they take a beating and they break easily, so some people replace it with a much thicker one. You can see that it's very thin. Now let's go for the suspension parts. So for suspension, this is using a 41mm KYB upside down fork, which is honestly super sexy. I love it. It's so good. And it's a bit stiff for me, basically because I'm a much heavier rider. Yeah, it's an upside down, and it's got it's adjustability for compression and damping. So it's got those two, and then in front of this, it's got a 320mm floating single disc that is powered or stopped by a J1 or J1. I don't know how to properly say that, but JJ, we'll just say JJ brakes. So it's got JJ brakes that is actually radially mounted, which is sick. Now for what I found is that for this bike, I know that the SR or SRS or SS, the sport bike version, has Brembo. I wish they would have put Brembos on this. It would have been a lot nicer, but these are pretty good. It does the job based on my own experience of stopping and going. So for the rear suspension, you can see right here, we have another KYB suspension. For the rear suspension, you can see it's got this nice canister, and it's got a little ring right there, a few rings. So this is actually adjustable for compression, rebound, and preload. So it's pretty decent for, you know, it's got all the bells and whistles if you want to really tune it in. And for the rear, we've also got a JJ brake, single pot. It's hugging a nice little 220mm single disc on the rear. My hands are getting dirty. But yeah, it's got Bosch ABS brakes. What do you call this? It's got like a Bosch ABS system on it. It's super cool. It's dual channel ABS, but you can turn off the rear with the switch. I'll show you later when we get into the dashboard. For the wheels and tires, this bike has a 21-inch front and an 18-inch rear, which is very common on adventure bikes. But for tires, it's using a CST 140 for the rear and a CST 90 for the front. This is a 90/90 and this is a 140/70. They're both tubeless. The only problem with that is tire size. You're gonna have a hard time finding tire sizes for this. Now, as I was saying, there was a switch. So you can see here, right there, there is an ABS switch. So you can turn it on and off. You know, you hold it, I think, or I'm not sure, but you can turn off ABS there. So now we're on the sitting portion of the bike, and let us take our first sit down on this beautiful bike. So overall, it feels very high up. So as you can see, I'm about 5'11", and my feet kind of touch the ground. I'm a bit tippy-toe, but stock seat on this is 820. You can actually change the linkage on the back, because this bike has a feature where you can make it lower or higher depending on what kind of rider you are. So stock, you can make it 800mm or 820mm with the stock linkage. But there is an accessory from CFMoto which boosts the seat up to 850 or 870mm if you're like a slightly taller rider. Overall, The bike feels very lightweight. On CFMoto's website, it says that the weight of the bike is 175. That's dry weight, but wet weight is something closer to about 195 kilos. That's with a full fuel tank, and fuel capacity on this is 17.5 liters. That is a lot of fuel, considering that it's such a tiny bike and it's a parallel twin that's very fuel efficient. I mean, you could ride this all day and you could only tick like 2 or 3 boxes on the fuel gauge. Okay, now let's take a deeper dive into the dashboard and what it looks like to be on this bike. You've got on the left side, you've got this is added by the owner, so it's a light switch. You can hear the individual clicks. So it's like a controller for the front lights, this one, the auxiliary lights right there. And then on the controls itself, you've got obviously your flash, this is your high beam, and then flasher. So high beam, you push it forward and then it clicks into place. That's your high beam. And then for the directional pad, you have obviously your controls because it's rocking a TFT display. I'll show you that later. It's got the ABS switch, which I was talking about earlier. Because it's got Bosch dual ABS, you can actually turn off the rear one if you're doing any aggressive off-roading, so you can really lock up the rear tire. For you know, you got your standard stuff, signal, you got your horn. Let's actually turn it on. So you've got your horn. It's got 2 modes actually. The owner also added a secondary function. So if you flick this up, that's the standard horn. That's what the bike comes with. And then if you flick it back down, you got that monster little horn that it's got. You know, it's loud. It's a very loud horn. It's like a car. Obviously, you got your kill switch, ignition. You've got your hazards, so in case you're, you know, going around, you got your hazards on. Now, obviously you got your tank right here. Super cool. I love the design on it. And then you have your ignition switch right there. It's got one of these like fat bar style, so it's fat here and then it tapers off. You got your phone mount added by the owner. Windscreen is adjustable. It's got about, what is it, 5 few clicks? Yeah, so it goes all the way down to all the way up. I think if you're doing like really long highway runs, you maybe want a taller one, but overall this is pretty good. It's pretty good. Maybe my helmet's just not designed for the thing. So now let's get into the dashboard. You can see, I'm not sure if you can see it clearly. It's very reflective, but maybe if you find a nice angle, I don't know. But yeah, so this dashboard, you can use this switch. So enter or ENT right here, you press ENT. And that gives you your modes and your settings and all that good stuff. Now, let's just talk about the standard dash first. So you got your neutral and gear indicator. You've got your kill switch indicator. So right now, if I flick it down, it should go off. Yep. So there's your kill switch. And then over here, we've got our traction control. We've got our, I think these are daytime running lights. I'm not 100% sure. You've got your ABS, which should go away once the bike is started. You've got your mileage, you've got your odometer, you've got your average like gallon, what do you call this, average consumption. So it goes about 4.8 liters per 100 kilometers, which is very fuel efficient. Obviously, you've got extra stuff here. You got your fuel, what's this? This is your oil sensor, you know, oil pressure sensor. You got your temperature for the bike. And then you've got a big old spinning rev limiter, or it's called a tachometer. They call it a tachometer. And then you've got your speedo. And then obviously you've got other stuff like side stand. Is it focusing? I think my camera's having a hard time focusing. But yeah, you got your side stand. You got your average, like what's your range. So you've got another 265 kilometers on this fuel tank. You've got your battery indicator. You've got your time. Now let's go into your settings. So obviously you've got your vehicle information. So it shows you everything from just the information on the bike, the odometer, the trip, the malfunctions, anything that you need. Maintenance intervals, which is really cool that it's got that, so you know when to change the oil on the bike. Obviously you've got your ABS, traction control, your shift alert, which you can change at what RPMs you get it. So when you're riding, in the gears icon, there's actually a little arrow that points upward telling you to upshift. So it'll tell you like when you should shift and stuff. And then phone connectivity, of course, you can connect it to your phone, which I'll show you in a minute. Themes, you can change the theme. So it's got like 1, 2, It's got two themes. So it's got this one, which is more, I think, race oriented. It's cool. It's got about the same details, but this one's, I think, a bit better because it actually shows you the degrees of the, you know, the stuff, and it shows you per bar of your fuel. So I kind of like this one more too. Off-road also shows you that there's an off-road thing up there. I hope you guys enjoyed this dash. This is basically just a quick little overview of the dashboard on here. Of course, there's more features on this once you connect it to your phone, which I think it's super cool that bikes these days are coming out with this, especially one for this price point. You know, it's a small adventure bike that's got a TFT screen and phone connectivity. More bikes should do this. It is just phenomenal. CFMoto is really making waves, and I'm enjoying riding their wave. Now let's go to the ride review. There we go. So here's our first ride on the 450MT, or as other places call it, the Ibex. Well, let's go. Overall, bike feels. Let's get onto the thing. First impressions, the bike feels really good. I've ridden it already on the highway. This is just a little extra bit. Yeah, I'm enjoying this bike. Feels nice. It's got a very peppy engine. And yeah, it's smooth. You can definitely feel the heavier 21-inch front tire, but it makes up for it because it's a very nimble bike. You know, you've got very wide handlebars. So overall, you're getting a much more maneuverable and much more flickable big bike, you know? Now, how does this stack against all its other competition? This is going up against a Himalayan 450, the new one. I've actually ridden the old one, but I'm not sure about the new one. So yeah, I'm just currently waiting to see maybe I could review that one again. I mean, obviously it's a new engine, they've made everything brand new. Thank you for giving me a little bit of space. But yeah, overall I'm loving this bike. I think the engine is really good. It's tuned very well, and it makes not a lot, but it makes plenty of power. And it's very peppy. It likes to be revved out. It's enjoying being on the higher revs, and there's not much problems with it. I've seen people tear down this engine. I've seen a guy on YouTube, he's teared down the engine. Obviously we're not 100% sure about what he's, you know, how he teared it down, but I have seen them with Japanese parts. So that's a very good sign that CFMoto is using Japanese parts in their engines. So overall, you know that this engine's reliable, because I've also seen reviews of it go all the way up to 10,000 kilometers, zero problems, and the bike can still manage it. Now this bike is this bike is still brand new. It's got 4,000 kilometers. It is a very baby bike, you know. It doesn't have much mileage yet, but it is getting close to its service interval, as we saw in the TFT dash, you know, when we're going into the Howlin sides. But yeah, I'm confident on CFMoto. I'm enjoying their tiny bikes. This is relatively a small bike, but where I live they call this a big bike. You know, in the States or in other places of the world, this would be considered a small bike because everything big there is either a 600 or 1,000. But this is plenty. You don't need more than 50 horsepower. Yeah, honestly. Most streets, you run out of road faster than You'll run out of road faster than what do you call this? Faster than you can go, basically. You know, people are fighting for the most amount of power, right? You know, these big companies come out with how much can I put in a liter bike? You know, Ducati's got this crazy V4 that makes about 240 horsepower or 220, something like that. But it's just crazy. It's too much power. You're in first gear and you're already out of road. But this tiny bike, and look, like it's traffic. Let's say this is, I mean, it's not traffic, but you can easily get through all the traffic with this bike. It's nimble. It's got a very, very manageable torque curve. And aside from the clunky little gears that it's got, I think that just maybe needs a bit of smoothing or needs a bit more brake-in. But overall, this bike is very good for daily use, even for like longer adventures. The seat, I have to say, guys, the seat on this, comfy seat. I could sit on this all day and I would be perfectly fine. And then you've got the 5-inch TFT display. Looks amazing. Gives you everything. You've got your speedometer, tachometer, and then you've got your gears. That's basically all that you really need. Maybe your fuel gauge, but even then, it's got 17.5 liters. That is a lot. Like, literally, I just did I think about 100 kilometers today on this bike, and it just ticked 1 bar off the fuel gauge. So range wise, you know, you're not going to be doing 400 kilometers, give or take 360 kilometers in a day, you know. Yeah, I mean, you can if you're going really far, you know, and you're going in a relative speed, but 300 kilometers is very, very far. But yeah, so range wise, this bike is really good. It's very fuel efficient. It's got plenty of power. It's a bit top heavy. That's my only gripe. But maybe because I'm so used to like sportier bikes where their center of gravity is very low. You know, the Ninja 300. I've had a Z400. I've got a review coming up on I've got a bike coming up that I'm gonna review. That is gonna be pretty, you know, it's a rare bike and not many people know about it. But hopefully, yeah, it's gonna be cool. Now they did actually do a remake on it, but more on that when I get to it. But yeah, going back to this bike, the engine note, I have to say, the 270-degree crank on a small 450 bike, it's nice. I like it. It's really nice. So nimble, so easy to get through traffic, and you're riding fairly tall. So, you know, as you're looking around, everything is much easier to spot, and you can just dodge and weave easier. And the handlebars on this are very wide, so you are literally very maneuverable. Of course, we have to do an expressway run. We're just testing out, opening her up a bit. And of course, she is very nimble. Let's try to just adjust this. Oh, that's max. Very chill bike. You know, I think the only thing missing is a cruise control, but other than that, I think you can make do. This bike feels, I like it. I'm beginning to really like this bike. I think it's a super banger package for what you get. You're getting a lot of bike for very cheap compared to like other competitors. And plus, it looks nice. This blue, the blue on the black and the white. CFMoto's design language is very bellissimo, very bellissimo. Given that, you know, their designer, I look plain. Given that their designer is from Ducati, that's from what I know. You know, their designers from Ducati, so a lot of the design language feels very similar and very angular, like Ducati. Or what's Ducati, like organic? So, you know, overall, this bike is solid. Now I just need to find which way do I go. I'm thinking I want to go left. Yeah, I think I want to go left because there's this car blocking the road. I don't want to get, you know, I don't want to get stuck in between traffic. Oh, let's follow this guy. Let's just pretend we're with him. He's on an NK. I'm just pretending I'm with him. Hello, friend. You go first, friend. And then I'll go in after. Oh, this is so cool. I'm sorry I have to leave you. I'm rushing to get to my destination. And plus, you know, this bike is slim, it's tall, it's comfy. Seat is very plush. My buttocks is it feels good. And yeah, it can handle highway speeds really, really well. I would just have to say maybe the windscreen could be a bit taller, you know, just to deflect a little bit more of the wind off me. But you know, that's stock. At least it comes with a windshield or a windscreen. And I'm having a lot of fun. Even in 6th gear, she still pulls. This bike is phenomenal. Hey, what up, Argo Cargo? Let me get to my exit. Woo! Oh, baby. What is my exit? Naya X. So I need to go left to go up and then over. Let's go, baby. Ooh, there's a slight whistle to the bike. I think that may be just something with the fairings. You can hear it. Or maybe that's the tires. I don't know. I don't know if it's the tires. Could be the tires. This feels nice. It feels nice to be on a big boy bike.
A few moments later.
Okay. There we go. So yeah, the 450MT, guys. Let me know what you think. Personally, is it a tiny T7 or is it a tiny 790 or 890 adventure? Honestly, no. This new 450 engine is making a huge boom. You know, it's got a 21-inch front. It's got an 18-inch rear. Now, sprocket-wise, it is very torquey. I think if you were doing a lot of highway runs on this, you definitely want to change it out because it's not that good for cruising. That's just my personal, findings. But overall, I think this bike is solid. It's CFMoto's making just, I keep saying it, but they're making waves, and damn, we need to ride that wave with them because this is just so much fun. I just want to give a big thank you to MoonStrider Garage. They lent me this bike, and I am just, if you guys want to check them out, Facebook page will be linked down below. They have a Z900, a CB650R, and of course this, the 450MT, which I am just in love with. This engine is amazing. The configuration on this bike is amazing. The suspension's good. The handling, it's just, CFMoto just did amazing with this. And so yeah, MoonStrider Garage, they were super chill. They let me even connect my phone to the bike. And yeah, that was just really nice of them. So check them out, guys. They do a full service, If you guys want to check out some of their bikes, they can do daily or they can do like weekly, up to you guys. Even monthly, they said. So check them out down below, guys. Huge thank you to them for lending me this bike. I am just, thank you so much. Let me know what you guys think about this bike, and maybe hit that subscribe button because I want to reach 100 subs before New Year's and hopefully start the next year with a boom. Thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next ride. Peace.